Hi, everyone, and welcome to Studio Jake. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. Thank you so much for joining me today. Here on this channel, I talk about all things pop culture, anime, TV, film, novels, music, sometimes video games. But whatever the case may be, I hope today that you'll like this video, share it out, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, and tell me how you think I'm doing. Before I dive into the topic, just a reminder, I write novels. These are my three novels out right now. I've got Cacophony, which is sort of a paranormal novel about demons trying to take over a town and the angels sent to stop them. I've got The Seven Royals, first two parts of a trilogy I'm doing. The first is All Good Things, the second is Breaking the Stars. It's about a group of your favorite fairy tale characters who have to work together to save their kingdoms from an evil mage. So, with all that said, today I want to talk about Wonder Woman 3. So, with the shakeup going on at DC Films after Warner Brothers Discovery was acquired by Discovery, and they became, of course, Warner Brothers Discovery, and they since put a man in charge of sort of the Warner Brothers aspect named Zaslav, and he's been cutting things left and right. He's canceled the premiere of the Batgirl film. He sold the CW to Nexstar. He's been firing people left and right. He's been making slashes at Cartoon Network. All kinds of crazy things have been going on. Well, one of the things he has done is, because of this, despite other DC projects, failing, like Wonder Woman 1984, he brought on James Gunn to help kind of right the ship. Originally, they had planned to do something with J.J. Abrams, but when some of his project announcements didn't sit well with fans, it seems like they've at least been put on the back burner. So he's brought on James Gunn to be like the co-studio head, along with a guy named Peter Safran, to sort of right the ship after Gunn's success over at Marvel, and also with the Suicide Squad, as well as the HBO Max series Peacemaker. So, with all this, there's been a little bit of drama. So, it's unclear what projects are going on. So, first of all, beyond the trailer host, Grace Randolph, I don't think she actually started this rumor, but she certainly amplified the rumor that Henry Cavill's appearance in Black Adam was just sort of a one-off thing, kind of a last little nod to the Snyderverse, and that Gunn doesn't like Henry Cavill. That, of course, was debunked by Gunn himself. It also seems like they're just going to go with the flow with upcoming projects like the Aquaman sequel, despite stars Amber Heard's the accusations against her from various sources. Also, The Flash, with its star Ezra Miller having become the menace of Hawaii. Well, so another property that has sort of come up in all this is a third Wonder Woman movie. The first Wonder Woman movie was fantastic. Gal Gadot was awesome. Even though Batman vs. Superman was a terrible movie, she certainly shined in it. And, so that's been in the state of flux because Warner Brothers Discovery doesn't really want Patty Jenkins, who directed the first two Wonder Woman films, to return after the failure of Wonder Woman 1984, which I saw that movie. It could barely be a movie. And so apparently, Patty Jenkins presented with them a script or a treatment, which is kind of like a pitch, to James Gunn and Safran about a third Wonder Woman film. Now, according to Bounding into Comic Books, who is quoting the Hollywood Reporter, it said that they passed on it because it did not fit with the new but still unfolding plans. So, this also started a whole other slew of rumors that Jason Momoa is going to be moved from Aquaman to Lobo, that they're going to double down on Amber Heard and Ezra Miller despite their controversies, that Ben Affleck is going to return as Batman despite being, the second worst Batman after George Clooney, all of this crazy stuff. So, again, Bounding into Comics is quoting The Rap, who has an inside source, which means someone they're sleeping with usually, and they're talking about Patty Jenkins. She let Warner Brothers Pictures co-chairs and co-CEOs Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdi no, they were wrong, that they didn't understand her, didn't understand the character, didn't understand character arcs, and didn't understand what Jenkins was trying to do. She just doesn't want to allow Gunn or Saffron to have a seat at the table to have an opinion on something new that she might come up with. So there you go. They're basically saying that she's kind of being a Karen about it, that Patty Jenkins, I think it's kind of, well, I'll talk about this more in a minute, but I think it's kind of funny how Snyder having a story by credit for Wonder Woman is getting all the credit for its success, but then when he actually has produced by credit for Wonder Woman 1984, he's getting none of the criticism for its failure. I think that's kind of funny. So anyway, they're accusing her all this, and another reporter, again, this is bounding into comics, says, his name is Jeff Sneeder. I've heard some things about Patty Jenkins. I've heard she's a nightmare. I'm sorry, I hate to be the guy who's calling the woman a name, but I get it. But OMG, but listen, I've said that about countless male directors too. No, you haven't. Anyway, I've heard everything she turned in with Wonder Woman 3 was like a mess. I heard the Star Wars thing was a mess too, referring to her directing Rogue One. He finished the segment saying, I don't know what you want me to say, folks. That's what I've heard. No, he didn't. People like, I don't really know who to trust because I don't necessarily trust Patty Jenkins. She's a Hollywood insider. She's made movies for Hollywood, highly acclaimed films, right? Now, that doesn't necessarily make her untrustworthy, but we've also seen her kind of hang around with pretenders like Kathleen Kennedy, and, just kind of makes you a little suspicious of her. On the other hand, I trust the media even less so, especially the entertainment media. Well, Patty Jenkins hit back. She posted the statement that she wrote on Twitter, which I'm going to read you the whole thing. Apologies, I know it's a little long. Sigh. I'm not one to talk about private career matters, but I will not allow inaccuracies to continue. Here are the facts. I originally left Rogue One after a long and productive development process when it became clear it couldn't happen soon enough that I didn't want to delay WW3 any further, Wonder Woman 3. When I did, Lucasfilm asked me to consider coming back to RS after WW3, which I was honored to do, so I agreed. They made a new deal with me. In fact, I am still on it, and the project has been in active development ever since. I don't know if it will happen or not. We never do until the development process is complete, but I look forward to its potential ahead. When there started being backlash about WW3 not happening, the attractive clickbait false story that it was me that killed it or walked away started to spread. This is simply not true. I never walked away. I was open to considering anything asked of me. It was my understanding there was nothing I could do to move anything forward at this time. DC is obviously buried in changes they have to make, so I understand these decisions are difficult right now. I do not want what has been a beautiful journey with WW to land on negative note. I have loved and been so honored to be the person who got to make these last two Wonder Woman films. She is an incredible character. Living in and around her values makes one a better person every day. I wish her and her legacy an amazing future ahead, with or without me. Walking side by side with Linda Carter, who was obviously the Wonder Woman from the 80s show, and she also had a cameo in the post-credit scene of Wonder Woman 1984. An absolute legend and beacon of goodness and light. Has been a thrill. I've learned so much from her and will cherish her as a friend and mentor always. My crew has always been like family and fought every day to give the world the best films they could. And Gal Gadot, where do I even begin? Gal is the greatest gift I have received in this whole journey. A cherished friend, inspiration, and sister. There are no words I can use to convey how magical she is. She's the talking embodiment of Wonder Woman in real life and a better person than the world can imagine. Never once in the millions of moments I have spent with her did I see anything less. She is a gift to this world and even more so to me. But lastly, but most importantly, thank you to the incredible WWE fans and for all your love and support. Wonder Woman fans are often not the most visible in the media and online. Where has she been? But I want you to know that we have always seen and celebrated you and your importance. You were first and foremost in our minds every day we made the last two films. Doubt that with Wonder Woman 1984. You are the best and most loving people, and I look forward to always celebrating you. Thank you all for this wonderful journey. Keep up the Wonder Woman spirit. Any day that you that you face challenges, try asking, what will Wonder Woman do? I hope her beacon of love, truth, and justice is always there to lead the way for you, as she has done for me. Okay, so bottom line, she's saying, hey, it ain't me. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do this. I didn't walk away. Now, I have a feeling there is some gray area with this discussion. I think that more than likely, she did have a treatment. She did bring it to James Gunn and Peter Safran, and they didn't like it. And as always, what happens with the entertainment media, the paparazzi, the headline chasers, they probably exaggerate it. And who knows? But I could be wrong. Maybe there was some Karening going on with Patty Jenkins. I'm not here to exclusively defend her. That being said, I do think that DC has become fodders for rumor peddlers like Grace Randolph, like Scott Mendelson, like The Wrap, like BuzzFeed. Honestly, DC is in such a state of flux. There was even a rumor that I heard that James Gunn wants to incorporate the Robert Pattinson version of the Batman into his larger DCEU that's coming. And, you know, what started that rumor is Matt Reeves defended James Gunn, because one of the things that I do like about James Gunn, sure, he's a perv, he's a little bit of an egotist, but he may not be a perv anymore. He certainly was pre-Guardians of the Galaxy, judging by his own Twitter feed. But anyway, Matt Reeves, one of the things I like about him is he's real active of shutting things down, which is another reason why Grace Randolph hates him so much, is she started rumors like she did with Star Wars, like she did with the Batman. They were all proven false. And James Gunn is one of the people who called her out for spreading false rumors about his plans for the DC universe. So she doesn't like him, so she's always quick to peddle these nonsense rumors. She is not a trustworthy source. What she does is she takes stories that are already posted to other rumor websites or insider websites that aren't as big as her, and then she represents them. Sometimes she gives credit, sometimes. And and then other times she says, my insider. She doesn't have any insider. She doesn't know anyone. Come on. She peddled that whole rumor about Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, that there were test screenings going on. Oh, remember that? Y'all ain't ready for this. That was totally debunked and untrue. And nothing ever came of those rumors. And of course, then of course they had, even the people defending her had to backpedal a little bit. Now, whatever the case may be, in regards to Patty Jenkins, it is clear that her career is in a little bit of state of flux. She had some success with Monster, with Wonder Woman. She was supposed to direct the original Thor, but she didn't like where Marvel wanted to take the character. And at the time, Disney wasn't even in charge. Paramount was running the MCU. And so they were kind of like, okay, well, we'll see you later. And I know that was disappointed, because Natalie Portman was really looking forward to working with her. Now, she wanted to direct Thor: Dark World, not the first Thor, the second Thor. Apologies. But anyway, so that's how she was snagged up for the DCEU, and she did a great job with Wonder Woman. Personally, I don't understand that a lot of the hate that is geared toward Patty Jenkins. She does kind of have a little bit of a Karen vibe, I guess. And again, I'm not trying to say that these rumors are untrue. I'm just saying they're unfounded. We don't know if they're true. But again, so she did Wonder Woman 1984. It was made kind of in the midst of the Me Too hype, and it was a bad movie, because anything that panders to a small segment that just screams and shrieks louder isn't going to do good. That being said, I do think that one bad film doesn't make a person a bad filmmaker. Consistent terrible films, like Zack Snyder, he is a hack. Zack Snyder likes to work off the genius of other people. 300 being Frank Miller. The Watchmen, he had built off a previous director's work on the project, and so on. Man of Steel, he just made Superman into this angsty teenager, basically, for all the movies he's in. And it just didn't make any sense, you know, and he has no idea what character development is. With Patty Jenkins, the problem with Wonder Woman 1984 was that it was just a bad story. You know, the whole thing of bringing Trevor back, Steve Trevor, didn't make any sense. The sort of the rules of magic with regard to the stone, the villains of the movie were kind of lackluster, and also didn't make sense with her being in secret and then publicly doing all of these heroics. You know, because from Wonder Woman to Batman versus Superman, it was established that no one knew her. She didn't know where she had come from. Bruce did that whole thing where he emailed her, who are you? Where have you been? So it wasn't consistent with the established canon or lore. And, you know, and also the story was kind of a mess. They were trying to also make statements about, you know, imperialism and all that nonsense, you know, stuff that you know, happened ages before any of us were born. And I think that Patty Jenkins deserves at least the benefit of the doubt here. Now, James Gunn could come out and certainly say, no, she was a total Karen. She didn't listen to us. And so it just ended up where we just told her to get out. You know, we could definitely hear that. Of course, James Gunn isn't exactly trustworthy either. You know, remember he was putting out very exploitive text about children and animals, you know, just disgusting, awful stuff. But so I'm not saying one is more trustworthy than the other. We'll just have to see how this plays out. His lack of comment on it, at least at the time of me recording this, seems to indicate that maybe it's not true. Whatever the case may be, most of the people who are commenting on James Gunn becoming the new head of DC Films seem to have a positive attitude about it. We'll have to see how it plays out. You know, he's not the greatest director ever, but he certainly is better than what they had before. He's better than Zack Snyder. He's better than Patty Jenkins. He's better than J.J. Abrams. All three of those, by far, I'm not saying combined, but certainly just on an individual basis, he is a better storyteller. He has a good way of mixing humor with seriousness and action with spectacle. So we'll see how this goes forward. I would love to see him do a more integrative DCEU, maybe even change that name, but we'll have to wait and see where it goes from here. If you liked that video, please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Give it a thumbs up. And I would be honored today if you would subscribe. No matter what platform you're watching on, please subscribe. Hit that follow button. Share it out all over the place. And check me out on some of my other socials. I've got links in the description below. Also, check out my website, StudioJakeMedia.com, and consider supporting this channel on StudioJakeMedia.locals.com. It really helps smaller creators out. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.